Hey Ethan, it's Marshall. Your mom told me you wanted to see some more flying videos, so I've got a really cool one for you right now. I'll bet you didn't know this, but airplanes don't have to take off and they don't have to land on runways like this. They don't. They don't need this sort of thing that looks like a long, straight, flat road to get where they're going. At least some of them don't. And I'm going to show you a little bit about that today because it is really, really, really neat. So I don't know if you know this, but you live out on Long Island, so maybe you've seen this before and wondered what's up with that, or asked your mom or dad about it when you've seen it. But maybe you've seen an airplane that looks a lot like this. It's on the water, and instead of wheels, you see, here's the airplane, and it looks like a regular airplane, but instead of wheels, it's got these things that make it float on the water. And if you've got an airplane like that, you can fly to places where there isn't a runway like this to land on. Instead, you can just land on the water, and then you could float right up to a dock just like a boat, and passengers can get on and off, and that's really cool. But it gets even cooler than that. Take a look at this airplane here. This airplane, you see that? It's on the snow. And instead of wheels, it's got great big skis. And so it can go places where there isn't a runway either, but like way, way, way up north in the Arctic and the Antarctic, where it's always cold and there's always snow on the ground. And it can take off and land just by sliding on the snow, just like you're on a sled. You see that? It looks like a great big sled, and that's what it's there for. So I'm going to show you something. It's not quite as fancy as that, but it's pretty cool. Airplanes, like I said, don't have to land on the pavement like this, on asphalt or concrete. But they can also land on, you ready? They can land on the grass as long as it's smooth enough and long enough. So what I'm going to show you is really cool. We're at this airport on Long Island, about a half an hour from where you live, and I'm going to raise the camera up here so you can see that not only is there an asphalt runway like this, like a normal runway, but just over here, look at this. There's another runway, and it's made of grass. Let's just move the camera down here so you can look at it. And you see, it's nice and straight, it's nice and flat, it's nice and smooth, but it's made of grass. And our airplane is going to land on it. So let's get started up, and I'm going to take off here from this paved runway, and we're going to fly around, turn around a couple times, and we're going to land on the grass runway. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fly across Long Island Sound, which is right near where you live, and we're going to fly to an airport in Connecticut so you can see what that's like, okay? So let's get the airplane started up. And the way we do that is we look right here at our fuel gauge, and in a second we'll see how much fuel we've got. But first thing we'll do is we're going to turn on our battery. And our battery has the electricity, just like in a car, that's going to make the engine start up. So there's the switch for the battery, and we're going to turn that on and turn this one on. And let me turn up the sound a little bit on this, just so that you can hear all the noises that it makes, because the noises are pretty cool. So there we go. All right, let's make it well, maybe not that loud, but we'll adjust it once we get the engine started, because the engine's going to make a lot of noise. So to start this engine, we have to put some fuel, some gasoline into it before we start it. We sort of have to get it ready to start, okay? So, let's do that. I'm just going to make a little adjustment here. I'm going to move this in. All right, now, that's the switch that's going to put a little bit of gasoline into the engine before we even start it, okay? It's a pump, and you're going to hear it make some noise, and I'm going to look right here, and this tells me whether there's gasoline going into the engine. So I'm going to look right here, and I'm going to watch for that needle, and you look at that needle too. It's going to jump up right here, and I'm going to turn it off really quickly. So you ready? 1, 2, 3. See it pop up? And now I'm going to turn it off. That's all we need. We just have to put a little bit of fuel in there so that it starts up. Now, this is the throttle. It's like a gas pedal in your car, and I'm going to close it almost all the way because we don't want to go too much when we start up. All right, now, I'm going to turn a key just like your mom or dad does in the car, and it's going to make this propeller right here. Here, let me show you on the outside. See? That's the propeller right there. Those are the 3 blades, and that's what pulls the airplane through the air. And I'm going to turn that starter motor, and it's going to spin this thing around, and with any luck, it's going to make a lot of noise, but it's going to start up. So you ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Let's try it again. 1, there we go. And it starts up. Okay. Now we're going to flip a few switches. That's going to get all of these gauges here going so I can see what we're doing. All right, we'll put that in. And you see how these things light up? And that's telling us, well, how's the engine doing? How fast are we going? How high are we? All those things I showed you in the last video. Now these are our flaps. I'm going to put our flaps in and watch what happens. I'm going to come around here, and you see this part of the wing right here? Those flaps are going to change the shape of the wing so we can take off easier. Now watch what happens. I'm going to flip a switch inside there, and look what happens here. See how those go down? And that's going to help us take off. So, okay, so we've done that. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to test our controls. So I'm going to move this back and forward and turn it this way. It's just like a steering wheel in a car. All right, now watch what happens. Come around here, and when I pull back, watch what happens to this, which this is the thing that makes the plane go up and down. Okay, that's up. You see how it points down? And this is down, and that sort of points up. All right? Now, it's sort of reversed from in a real, like in a car. Now I'm going to, see? That's what makes the plane go left or right. And this right here also makes the plane go left and right. Watch what happens. I'm just testing it out here to make sure it works. And it works fine. So that's good. Okay. Now let's see what else I have to do. Oh yeah. Okay. You remember I was telling you about sort of like the GPS on your car? So I'm going to set that here so we know where to go. Okay. So push this button here, and I want to go to a place called K. This is the name of an airport, but they all have like funny names with letters. KBD, and then R. BDR is short for Bridgeport. That's Bridgeport, Connecticut. So we're going to go over there, which it's not very far away. The K is just the letter they put in front of every airport in the United States. So if it's BDR for Bridgeport, there's always a K in front of it. So we'll hit enter. And it'll ask us, is that really where we want to go? And we'll say, yeah. All right. And we'll set that up. And get that all ready. And let's see. All right. There we go. Let me just all right, so that's where we're going next. All right, and if you look right here, you'll see, I'm just going to hold that button down, and in a second you'll see a map, and that is going to tell us where we're going. All right, so there we go. Now, before we go there, you remember I told you we're going to land on that grass strip right here. Okay? So what we're going to do first is we're going to take off. We're going to turn ourselves around, and we're going to come back and land here. And we're going to do a very special kind of landing, and that landing is called a touch and go. And what that means is we're going to land here, but then we're not going to stop. And then what we're going to do is we're going to land, and then we're going to crank the engine way up again, and we're going to speed up again, and we're going to take off here. Let me show you what it looks like, okay? I'm just going to go on YouTube here so you can see what a touch and go landing looks like, because that's what we're going to do. All right, now watch what happens. This is a big plane doing it, but you'll see. Okay, so here comes the plane, and it's coming into land, and there's the runway right there, and watch what happens. It's going to touch down. That's the touch. Now watch. It's going to put the engine back on in a second. So it's rolling down the runway, and now watch what it does. And it's going to take off again. And there it goes. So that is exactly what we're going to do, but we're not going to do it in a great big plane like that. We're going to do it in this little plane right here. Okay, so the engine's all warmed up. You ready? Let me explain to you what we're going to do. We're going to speed up the engine. We're going to roll down this runway. When we get going fast enough, we're going to pull back on this yoke right here, and that's going to make us go up. And we're going to take off. And then we're going to bring the wheels up, like I showed you before, and we're going to turn around this way, and we're going to come back around, and we're going to land on that grass strip that's right over there. We're going to touch our wheels down, and then we're going to speed up the engine again, and we're going to take off. Okay, so you ready? This is pretty exciting stuff. It is for me too. All right, so here we go. Let me take off the brake. All right, I'm going to rev up the engine. You hear? And let's go. See, we're going faster. And we're almost fast enough. And now, here we go. All right, we're flying. Now I'm going to bring those wheels up, so here we go. Okay, you hear that? That's the wheels going up. All right, now I'm going to fly out over the water here, a little bit over this way. And now I'm going to bring our flaps up. That's this switch right here. Okay, now you see those flaps are coming up right there. Now, I'm keeping an eye right here on how fast we're going. And I'm just going to climb up. This tells us how high we are. So now we're 800 feet above the ground, and you see we're right coming over the ocean here. So now I'm going to come out this way. I'm going to turn to the right a little bit, and then we're going to turn all the way around and come back. Because now we're going to go the other way. This is Long Island, by the way. This is where you live. All right, so there we are. So we're up high enough right now, and I'm not going to go any higher. And now what we're going to do is we're going to turn around. So we're turning to the left now. You see we're coming up over the shore, and we're going to come back towards the airport. We're going 100 miles an hour here, so we're going pretty fast. And we're 1,000 feet up, so we're pretty high too. And there's the airport. You see right over there, out the side. So now we're going to slow down, and we're going to put the landing gear down. So, all right. So here comes the airport, and you see there's the place we took off from, and there's the grass we're going to land on. Okay, so you ready? Now we're going to slow down. You hear how the engine changes? And I'm just keeping an eye out here. And I'm making sure we don't go too slow. And you watch what happens. We're going to come right over a bunch of trees and over a street, and then we're going to land on the grass here. Giving us a little bit more power. Okay, so you see the airport? It's right in front of us now. And look at all those trees we're going to have to go over. So here we go. Coming across the street. And we're 100 feet up. We're still pretty high up. But we have to get over those trees. Okay, so there's the power lines, and there's the trees. And watch this. Here we go. Okay, get ready. This is called a touch and go. Okay, we're getting lower. Okay, now we put the power back on. And get ready. We're going to go up again. Here we go. And up we go. Now we're going to fly right across Long Island, and we're going to fly out over the ocean, not far from where you live. So that sound means that the wheels are coming back up. You can see outside, see the wheels are up. And now we're going to bring the flaps up so we can go a little faster. And we're going to go right across the ocean. And I just want to look at this right now, because that right there, you see that line? That's going to tell us which way to fly, so we get where we're going. It's like a map. Okay. So here we go. Look at that. That's a radio tower down there. You see that right there? All right. Okay, I'm just looking at what the map tells me to do. So I'm just going to adjust my instrument here so that I can see where I'm going. And in a second, we're going to be right on the right track. And in another few minutes, we're going to be out over the water right there. So we're climbing up. You see how we're going higher? That's the Long Island Expressway right there. And you probably drive on that with your mom or dad sometimes. And your house is right about over there. Okay? So we're just going to go up a little bit. And I'm going to just slow the engine down a little bit so it doesn't get too hot. And we're going to climb up all the way to 4,000 feet so you can get a better view. Okay? And there's another airport. Look at that, right over there. See that? I'm just going to zoom in a little bit so you can see it. See, that's another runway. 2 runways, in fact. All right, so up we go. We're at 3,000 feet now. Look at how high we're getting. And you see we're still going up. You see how we're pointed up? And there's another airport. Look at that. The nice thing about flying around Long Island and around where you live is that there are a lot of airports. So if you need to land someplace, you can just land someplace. It's sort of like being on the highway and you've got lots of places you can stop if you need to go to the bathroom or something. All right, so that's showing us where we are. And we're going to head right out across the water, and it's only going to take another couple minutes because we're only, let's see how far away we are. We are only all right, we're only 20 miles away, so we're going to be there pretty fast. We're going to be there in just a few minutes. Okay, now you see, I want to fly at 4,500 feet. I'm just going to make us level off here. And I'm just going to slow down a little bit so we don't go too fast. And now we're going to fly right across the water, right about to there. You can already see it where we're going. Now when I'm flying, okay, that's about where you live, right there. You see where that water is? Right about there. Maybe actually a little bit, yeah, a little closer to right about there, actually. That, where I was pointing before, that's where you used to live, right over there. But when you're flying around in a real plane, you're always looking around. You're always looking around for other airplanes to make sure that you don't accidentally get too close to them. All right, so in a second, we're going to get really close to where we're going. And this needle right here, this needle is going to match this needle right here, and that means we're going in the right direction. So I'm just going to turn a little bit here, and we're going to just adjust that a little bit, and you see this is starting to move. Now watch what happens. When this starts to move, I'm going to turn this way, because that's what it's telling me to do. It's telling me to turn that way. Because in an airplane, it's not like in a car. You can't just ask somebody for directions, so you have to sort of get your directions yourself and use these instruments to tell you, am I going the right way? Do I need to go right? Do I need to go left? So we're out over the water right now. This is Long Island Sound, and you don't live too far away from there. So I'm just making some adjustments here, and in a second we'll be there. We're only 12 miles away, so we're not far at all. And I'm going to show you what happens when you get close to an airport, how we're going to approach and how we're going to land. Only this time, instead of just doing a touch and go, we're going to stop. So that's what we're going to do. In the meantime, we're just looking around, and look at that. You can, from all the way up high, you can see all the way here from Long Island Sound all the way out to the ocean, to the Atlantic Ocean. So we're pretty high up. So we're waiting for this needle to start moving, and when it does, we're going to turn to the right. And now we're going pretty fast. Not going as fast as we can go, but we're going pretty fast. And let's go even faster, okay? That's our speedometer. Just like in a car, that's telling us how fast we're going, except we're going about a lot faster than you go in a car. Okay, we're only 10 miles away now, so we're getting closer. And I think the airport is right over there. But let's see. I think that's it. So here we go. Now we're going to fly over the airport, and we're going to figure out what runway we're landing on. And you can't just drop down on any runway. Sometimes you have to talk to the control tower, and they'll tell you where to land. But sometimes when there's no control tower, you have to figure out where you're going to land. And then you have to go around in a certain direction so that you and other planes, you all know where you're going. And that's called a pattern. So we're going to do that. We're going to go in a pattern. We're going to go in one way, we're going to turn around, and we're going to turn around again, and then we're going to end up landing. But airplanes do this exactly the same way, so that everybody gets all lined up and nobody bumps into anybody else. So that's how airplanes do it. So here we go. Let me show you. Here's the airport. See right there? And those are the runways. And we're going to land on this runway here. So I think what we'll do is we'll come across the airport and then we'll turn to our left. Okay, so here we come. So now let's get lower. So now, watch this. See this right here? That's our power. And I'm going to pull back on it right there. And it's going to let us get slower. And that's just warning us that we could be getting too slow. Alright, so here we go. It's pretty loud, isn't it? Alright, you see the airport's getting closer. Now we're going to come. You know what? Let's do this. Let's use this runway right here, okay? So we're going to come almost up to about here, and then we're going to make a right turn, and we're going to go out to here and make a left turn and another left turn, and we're going to land on that runway right there, okay? So let's go down a little bit. We're going in pretty fast. Look at that. Look at how fast we're going now. See how it's getting closer very quick? Now we're going to slow down really quickly. Okay, you ready? We're going to make a right turn in 1 second. There's the airport. Those are the runways. Okay, let's make a right turn now. We're going to keep an eye on the runway so we know where it is. Now we're going to slow down. So I'm going to pull my nose up so we slow down. And when we get slow enough, I'm going to put the landing gear down. So you're going to listen for it. You ready? And you're going to see these lights light up. So here we go. All right, and those lights lit up. Now I'm going to put our flaps in, and you see on the back of the wing there, they're coming down, and look, there's the airport, okay? So we're going to make a left turn, and then another left turn, and then we're going to land. So here's our first left turn, and we're going to turn around so that the airport is going to be right out of our left-hand window. So we're looking. You see, there's the airport, so we're going to keep our eye on it. We're going to slow down a lot more. Okay, so there's the runway we're going to land on, right over there. Okay, so we're going to make another left turn in 1 second. Okay, you ready? Okay, here's our other left turn. And there's the runway. Look at that. Okay. Getting closer. Now we're going to turn a little bit more in 1 second here, so we line up with the runway. Okay, there it is. And what's that in front of us, Ethan? That's the runway. And let's go down a little bit so that we get closer. And this time we're going to come down onto the runway and we're going to stop. Okay, so we're going to stay lined up with the middle of it. And we're going to slow down. You hear that? And there we go. We're down on the ground. And we're just going to slow down a bit more. And then we'll get off the runway and get out of everybody's way. And look at that, that's where we park. So we're just in the right place. So let's pull up to where we park. And then I'm going to show you what the landing looked like in an instant replay, okay? Because that's pretty cool too. But first, let's find a parking spot. And that's not always easy. I see one right over there. See that space? Just sort of sneak around behind these other airplanes. Look at all these planes. Wow. It's a pretty popular airport, huh? So I'm going to turn around here. I'm going to park right in between. Look at that, parking spot just for us. Right, here we go. Look at that, perfect. Pretty good parking job, huh? I'm just gonna open up the window here. Get some air in here. And I'm gonna put on the brake so that we don't go anywhere. And now, let's see what it looks like from the outside, that landing. So I'm going to hit the button to do the instant replay and watch what happens. And there we go. Okay. So, let's see what it looks like from the control tower, all right? Oops. Zoom in a little bit, because that's in our way. Alright, there we go. So there we are out there. Okay, now I'm going to hit play. And here we go. Let's see. So we're turning around. You remember we did that turn before we came into land? And there's the runway right down there. And here we come. Look at that. Here we come. And I zoom in a little bit so you can see it a little better. And there's the runway. And watch this. Now we're going to slow down and we're going to pull up the nose a little bit. You see, we're going to, in a second. See? Wow. Okay, that's pretty cool. Here, let's see it from another direction. All right. So. Okay, so there's the runway, and here we come. And at the very last minute, you see how we're pointing down? I'm going to slow down, and I'm going to point us up a little bit so these wheels right here hit first. You hear us slowing down? Now I'm going to pull back, and see how those wheels hit first, and now that one hits. And that is how you land a plane. Here, let me show you this way. Let's see if we can go backwards here a little bit. Okay, so you ready? So anyway, that is how you do it. And that's how you take off and land on concrete or asphalt, which is just like concrete, only it's darker. Or like I showed you before, on grass, you can land a plane, a little plane like this, almost anywhere you want, which is what makes it really fun because you can go lots of places in it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it, Ethan, and I'll keep thinking of new things to show you, so we can do this again real soon. And remember, I'm studying and learning how to fly a real plane, so maybe one day we'll go flying together, and maybe one day you'll learn how to fly a plane. In the meantime, you be good, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye.